Modelled on my mum.
Looking as composed, and he's got this way about him. When you hurt him, he smiles at you. They leave nothing in the ring, do they?
Smudger Smith points out the more power in it, the more damage.
Yeah.
Oh, good
shot. Great
from
shot
Smith.
from Smith.
I had a pretty good record, but my record was purely through not so being so tactical, more heart and will and bravery really. That's how I normally win my fights, taking shots but giving some plenty back. I'll fight anybody. It's as bold and beautiful as that.
Night of Prizefighters. Someone's getting knocked the fuck out.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Patriot show. I'm your host, Anthony Stephen Malone. Thank you for joining us today. Got a special guest today with a very unusual story. He is Dean Smudger Smith, the bare knuckle BKB champion. He's here to speak about his training, a positive mindset, his history, and where he's come from. Hello, Dean. How are you doing, Smudger?
I'm all right, mate. How are you? You good? You good on this?
Good, mate. I'm good, mate. A lot of my viewers might have heard of you or heard of you being the champion at the BKB. Can you give us a little bit of an overview about yourself, please?
Yeah, so I'm from Leeds. I'm 37-year-old. Been boxing for the best part of my life, and I'm a BKB fighter, bare knuckle boxer. Been boxing bare knuckle for about 2.5 years now, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's been great. Been a great ride.
All right. How did you get into all the fighting?
So I did a bit of amateur as a youth, and then did some in the army as a senior amateur. When I come out of the army, I went to jail for doing something quite terrible, but for a good reason, I will say. And then went to jail and got out and went for my white collar, started doing some white collar fighting, and it brought me to doing bare knuckle eventually. So that's where I'm at now, doing bare knuckle boxing.
Bare boxing. I'm just going to take you back slightly on that one. When you come out of the military, how did you find your transition period into civilian street?
So I went straight from jail, straight from army to jail. I was on leave from Germany, and I got attacked at my house by a local family. And when they attacked me, I retaliated. They said I retaliated a bit too hard. So you know, when one man against 3 men retaliating, I don't know how you go too hard, but apparently I did. So so I went to jail. So it wasn't actually transition from army to civilian. It was army to jail. But I found the routine quite easy because, as you know yourself, in the army you've got a lot harder routine than you have if you're in jail, when you're just getting up and having food and then going back into your cell. It's a lot different to getting up, running around the bondo with a big rucksack or day sack or burger on your back, and screaming orders at people. So
yeah,
the routine was a lot easier. So the transition was very easy. The hard part of transition from army to jail was the mindset, and the mindset was simply, I've got to survive.
Yeah.
Whereas in the army, you've got to survive and have a good time at the same time. So jail's not really a good time place. So when you're in jail, it's just a survival instinct. You just go into survival mode.
Okay. After you came out of jail, obviously you've gone into training, and you've turned your life around as well on that one with a positive mindset. Can you tell us how you got into BKB as well? Yeah,
so I'll just say about the transition with that as well first. So the transition from jail to civilian land, civil land was quite hard because I'd been institutionalized. It was hard to find that I had no routine at all, and I could do what I wanted when I wanted, unless it was probation telling me I had to be there for an appointment. I didn't have to be anywhere or do anything at any time. So that was quite hard. But the training come into play then, you see, because I've done all the training throughout my army career, and even in jail I was training. So when I got out, the training that I was doing for the white collar fights that I found myself on, it was the training for that kept myself going, that kept me motivated to keep doing something, kept me focused in life, because I found that I suffered with depression a lot of my life. So having depression and training helps me with my depression. But if I don't train, then my depression starts to get the better of me, and I start to feel down. And so the training part of it has always been massive, absolutely massive for me. But then I stopped the boxing and started doing weight training, put a bit of weight on, a bit of size. But once again, it was training, so I was happy. But I wasn't as happy as I was when I was doing the boxing. For some reason, it didn't seem to tick all the same boxes. Didn't seem to make me feel excited, and it didn't seem to get that rush. I needed that excitement. So when you're lifting weights, what real excitement are you getting? I don't really get that same sort of good feelings I do when I'm boxing training, because when you're trying to slip and dip and move out of the way of punches, you get that feeling, that amazing feeling when you've dodged a punch. You feel great. When you know that you should have been punched in the nose by a certain combination, and you just think, wow, I got away from that, and a little smile in you and your pal you're sparring with, just feels great. So then, I got back into the boxing, and I was enjoying that. And BKB, I didn't know was a thing, but when I finished the boxing stuff, I'd finished doing the white collar stuff because I couldn't get the pro license, as I was on license for criminal activity. So I decided that's it, enough's enough, stop the boxing, quit the boxing, and then I got pulled back into doing boxing and fighting with a few local lads, just fighting them in the streets, fighting them in local yards, and I got spotted by some BKB promoters, and went from there really. So the BKB was an after effect, or a reaction to an action, and the action was just me fighting local bullies.
Right.
Really.
Well, yeah, obviously, and you've done well on that as well, haven't you?
Yeah. So it's basically a byproduct of fighting against local pricks.
Yeah. What is the major differences, in your opinion, between fighting with the gloves on, as in if for fighting in the boxing, to doing BKB? What do you find the major differences on that?
So, the first one's quite obvious, is the fact that you haven't got gloves on. It makes you look more susceptible to certain punches. I mean, if I'm getting punched with a jab normally, I can just turn my hand in and catch the punch. It's a lot harder to do when the punch, obviously the hand doesn't have a glove on, and it can actually, the missile's smaller. And because the missile's smaller, you can get through them little gaps here and there. Yeah. So that's one element of BKB compared to boxing. But on the other hand, is the fact that if you get punched with someone with a bare knuckle or with a bare hand, they don't seem to punch the shots as hard. They don't seem to throw them as hard. They will throw them hard, but they won't throw them as hard as they want to, because you'll naturally pulling your punches because you've got nothing on your hands. Yeah. But the good thing about BKB is the injuries. You don't really get, the injuries are different. You get a lot more superficial injuries. Obviously facial damage, hands, which I've been quite fortunate because my hands are not damaged yet, neither of them. So I've been quite lucky. I've been throwing punches skillfully. I think I've been landing them in the right places, not the wrong. Cuts on the eyes, I've had a few of them. So obviously superficial damage is always going to happen, but the brain damage is different. So if you're getting bombarded with punches with someone with gloves on, you can take a lot of punches, on the bounce, one after the other. But with bare knuckle, it's not as easy to do that because the shots are a lot more pinpointed. So it's not really something you can take as many of. So you're getting punched once normally, or twice maximum, you're down. So your brain doesn't take as much of the bombardment of punches from with gloves on. And gloves, what you'll find is gloves have got a wider impact area. So when the glove hits your skull, it spreads the impact across your skull, and it creates more concussion, which is obviously the brain damage that you're receiving.
Okay. Interesting. I think my viewers will find that fact quite interesting as well on that.
Yeah, I
Can
mean,
you-
gloves were actually made, Anthony, for rounds to be longer and for
Yeah.
fights to be longer because
to
you know, obviously, the longer the fights, the longer the rounds, the more money they can earn on betting odds. So it was never about the fighters when they put gloves on the fighters originally through Queensberry rules. It was actually to aid the people that wanted to earn money. So the fighters, you know, they didn't really actually get anything extra from it, but brain damage. So now instead of walking around with a few broken hands after a couple of fights and not being able to fight again, they're able to fight on and actually break their brain, damage the brain.
it's even worse over a long period of time, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think moving forward, the bare knuckle scene is going to be a lot bigger. I mean, I've just been on a Zoom call. Yeah, I've just been on a Zoom call with Nike the other day. They're interested in BKB, and I think we're doing something with them. So as you can imagine, BKB is on the rise, and I think that people start to see that BKB is definitely a sport that's going to be sticking with us for a long, long time.
Exactly. It's good to see it starting to take off as well, because
Yeah.
all the guys involved train very hard for all this as
Yeah,
well.
they're picking up a lot of motivation, and it's picking up a lot of momentum. And so the fighters are getting more motivated because they're seeing that it's starting to get bigger and better. And obviously, you know, we are starting to get more momentum with the sport itself because the fighters are getting more motivated. So you need, if you're getting one that's in picking up and improving, then you're always going to get the other, because the more enthusiastic the fighters, the better the sport's always going to be. You know, if one element of the sport gets better and all the other elements around it also improve, then the sport's always going to improve, and it's always going to rise to its paramount position.
Yeah. Well, I think it will over the next year, especially over the next year. I think you're going to see some big changes in it. You're going to see some big sponsorship names getting involved in it as well. When you were doing all when you do your training, because I know you train very, very, very hard, because it goes up in peaks and that. Can you tell us a little bit about your training and how you prepare yourself, not just physically but mentally, to get in the ring as well?
So mentally, I normally just I'll watch the fight a few times. I see if he's more aggressive than me. I look at the points of where they're better than me. I can improve on, obviously, as most fighters do anyway. But I think if anything, I look at their sort of determination, their discipline, and if they're more disciplined than me, then I have to make sure I'm more disciplined than them. It's very rare that I find someone that's more disciplined. Once I get into my training, I'm on it, you know. I get onto the foods I'm eating. I'm on the Herbalife. I'm eating better foods. I'm always drinking clean water, and I don't mean just tap water or bottled water. I'm on about filtered waters. You know, and if anything, I think mindset's a big part of it, because if your mind isn't on it, then well, you're not going to get your body in shape, because your mind's everything. Your mind is absolutely everything in any fight. And look here. If you're Muhammad Ali or you know, Roy Jones Jr., they've all got a mindset that states they're a winner. And if you haven't got that mindset, then it won't happen.
Yeah,
You got to believe. You got to have self-belief, because if you're going into that ring with no self-belief, or you know, with any sort of self-doubt, then you're going to struggle.
well, it's what you said to me before. Believing is achieving. You believe in
Basically,
you can achieve.
You know,
anything you want.
we are the creators. We are the creators of our own worlds, really. You know, if we can envisage that we're going to be doing something and we focus everything onto it, then we can do it exactly that.
Yeah.
You know, we only flew planes what 100 years ago. One very long ago, we flew our first plane, and now we've got spaceships, space rockets. 100 odd years later, you can imagine it. If you can imagine it, you can see it, you can achieve it.
Right.
So
exactly, it's all about a positive mindset, isn't it? That's what it's about. Can you tell us a little bit about how you prepare mentally just before you go into a fight as well?
Same thing, to be honest. So the last fight ever against Sean George, and I was upstairs in my changing room about 5 minutes before, and I was having a bit of a bad time of it. I wasn't believing in myself at all. I was struggling, doing some pad work, just doing a bit of the pads, and I was struggling on the pads. And then my coach came up to me and he put his hands on my shoulders and he said, "Smudge," he said, "don't worry about it. When the bell goes, you always turn it on. So don't worry about it." So anyway, that made me feel a lot better. And I went and got back into the ring. I got into the ring, and sure enough, yeah, the bell went and I turned it on. So I got out of the ring afterwards and I said to him, if you hadn't said that to me, I don't know what I'd have done. He goes, "Well, did you believe yourself?" I said, "Yeah, well, that's what you've done. You believed it." Yeah. The mindset I have before going to a fight normally is one of I'm a very positive person. I'm normally around the back having a laugh with all the other fighters, having a giggle and a joke. I'm not only sat there pondering. Don't sit there with my head between my legs like some people do, going, "Oh, I'm a bit worried. Oh, I'm a bit scared. Oh, but what if this happens? Oh, but what if it happens?" I'm the only one that's like laughing and having a joke and going past them, going, "Come on," and trying to pick them up. "Come on, guys, get up, come on, we're fighting. You've trained for the last 8 weeks to 10 weeks for this moment here, and now you're worried." You know what I mean? All that worry should be gone now, because all the training you've done should reinforce the idea that you're going to win. So you should, anything you've done before that, you should not be giving you the idea that you're going to have to sit on the sofa somewhere in a changing room saying, "Oh, I'm shitting myself, I'm worried." Because if you're at that point there and then you obviously haven't trained hard enough for you to have that self-belief. Yeah. So as long as you've got self-belief, then you know that you've done the job. You've got the job done, because all the training you've done is the thing that's won you the fight, nothing else. No amount of you sitting there telling yourself you're not going to win is going to help you win. So don't do that. Just switch that shit off and just imagine and just believe that everything you've done so far up to that point has got you the win already. So it doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters now, because you've done everything you need to do. So the mindset I have is for every other fight bar the last one is, yeah, I got this. I've done this. I've got this. No problem at all. Every little punch I've thrown, every combination, every bit of running, every bit of jumping, every bit of monkeying around I've done is been at this point now, and I'm gonna win. So the worry goes, then the mindset's great. The worry goes. The fear's not there. I'm more excited to get in there and perform. If I was to have a worry, the only worry I would have was I want to perform. Yeah, the winning. Yeah, I'm always very conscious of being entertaining, because ultimately we're in this sport to entertain. I mean, we're here to win, but we're also here to entertain, and entertaining is the thing that we're here to do. It's all about ego as well. Obviously, ego plays into it, because a fight doesn't fight without an ego. But it's all about entertaining the crowd, because people pay for you. You're not going to fight unless people are paying tickets for you to come and watch you fight. So you're obviously doing it to entertain your people and to entertain everyone else's. You might say, "Oh, I'm doing it just for me," but you're not, because if you were, then you wouldn't sell a ticket. Yeah, you wouldn't be doing it at all, would you? Well, yeah, exactly. So it's a bit of entertainment. It's every sport, isn't it? It's got to be entertaining. So yeah. So my psyche is not one of a selfish one. Mine's one of everyone, really. For me and everyone, I want to do it because I want to be able to prove that I'm that man that can fight in the ring. I want to prove, for my ego, I want to prove that I am good enough. Yeah. But for everyone else, I want to prove that I can entertain them, that I've trained my back off enough for them to be able to go, "Wow, we enjoyed that." So that is always me before the fight. So that is how I get into my mindset, and that is how I propel myself forward. And my motivation is there. Exactly, that's the way it should be. You've started off from humble beginnings, and you've achieved great things, and you're going to go further on to achieve a lot more as well. Of course, yeah. You went down to a gym a while ago, and you spoke to some children there as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please? Which one was that? I got to. Yeah. So I got a pal called Craig Woods. It was about a year and a half ago, this actually, and I'd like to do more of it. But he has a group of kids that come in, and some of them are a bit unruly, and they have a few issues on the local estates.
Yeah.
But he has these youth classes up to like 16-year-old, and I went up there and spoke to these young lads about local estate stuff, you know, about getting in trouble, about boxing and failing. I spoke to them about failing because I wanted to let them know that, you know, failure is just part of life. And these kids were quite unruly. They were hard to talk to. And my mate Craig Wood said to me, you know, it's hard to keep their attention. It's hard to grasp. It's hard to grasp that these lads have actually got no more than 5 minutes of attention in them, attention span. But I got up there anyway and was speaking to them, and I managed to hold their attention for like 20 minutes at a time. Just stood in the middle of the ring after training with them, letting them punch me, doing a bit of sparring and just dipping and diving and moving out of the way. And yeah, we spoke about failure. We spoke about it not actually being failure, that failure is part of life and it's just a process of getting to where you need to be. You know, because likes of Edison, you know, 1,000 and odd times to try and make the right light bulb, and what scientists said, what the other scientists community said to him is, well, you failed 1,000 and odd times. No, I didn't fail. That was just a process. You know, failure is always part of the process. Like when you first walked as a child, you know, your parents helped you, but realistically, you could have done it yourself, and you always would have done it yourself, and you would have failed, you know, 30 times, one time, 20 times, it doesn't matter, but you would have failed. So your journey into walking, your very first lesson in life was to stand up and walk, and no one had to help you do it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. But failing's part of life, and I like to let these kids know that, and the more they know, the better the world will be, because they'll know that they don't have to fail and quit. They can fail and continue to try.
But it was good you went down and spoke to the kids, and I know we've spoken like before, and you mentioned that was the first time that they've actually had somebody on their level actually chatting to them, saying this is as it is. You know what I mean? And they took a lot of notice of you as well, which is
they were asking for me back actually, and I've seen a couple of them since. They come down to the to my gym, and well, it's not my gym, it's my coach gym, but the gym that I train at, Golden Team. I've had them coming down there since, and they're actually one called Kyron Brannan. He's a young, obviously, I think he's got an Irish background. He's a young kid from up top end of Leeds, and he always messages me and asks how things are and asks for advice. Asks if he can come down the spa, and it's always, you know, it's always good to speak to him. And he was one of the kids, and to know that I've just had one of them message me back and ask me for advice and ask me for help with his boxing is nice to know, because, you know, even if I just went up there and only one person heard me and it was him, it's made a difference. You know, it's just like, you know, if you was to throw 1,000 starfishes back into the sea and you've still got 1 million out of it, you still saved 1,000 starfishes. So helping that one person is obviously a big thing anyway. You know, no one can say that you haven't done anything there if one person is actually listening to you and is improving his life because of what you said.
No, that what you've done there was inspire the younger ones, the younger generation that's coming up. A lot of them go through hard times, but you've inspired. If you inspire one person, it works. You've changed life. Can't change the world, but you can change the way that people see the world. And that one person, in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, he might actually be one of the champions. Yeah, and he might help someone as well. So.
Yeah. Well, I do believe that even his mates who are not doing the same as him will be looking at him and thinking, well, I can, if he's doing it, I can do it. Maybe, you know, they might be doing it in another subject, another interest, something else. So, you know, it might not just lost on one neither. There might be a few more people from that who see that. You know, obviously, picture paints 1,000 words, and if people are seeing someone do something that they're not doing, and they're doing it with a lot of motivation and enthusiasm, then it obviously has a knock-on effect. I do believe that right now with the masks as well, I think they're trying to stop people from spreading a bit of positivity, because right now you can't smile at someone without them smiling back, because no one knows who's smiling. You know, the masks are horrendous.
Yeah, I think with everything that's going on at the moment, that's actually led right into where one of the questions I wanted to ask you, because everyone's going through difficult times at the moment with COVID, being locked down, and all this as well. We've all been through hard times with this. What are the benefits of training and exercise?
Well, right now, if you can get out and about and run, I would, because it releases endorphins in your brain, and the endorphins obviously are a good feel factor. So people are actually stuck at home right now, depressed, feeling worthless and shit, and it is happening. There's a lot of people doing it. That if they can't release them endorphins, if they can't have that feel good, if they can't start feeling good about themselves, they're all just going to keep flat spinning into a grave. And it's, you know, it's as harsh as that, but it's as true as that.
Yeah.
Get out and do something. Even I don't know. Order, what was that thing they used to have on TV now? The insanity. Get the insanity.
Yeah.
Get insanity on in your house. Do some aerobics or do whatever you need to do, but get yourself moving, because if you sat at home in front of that TV doing nothing, the TV's a killer. Turn the TVs off. Take terrestrial TV and throw it down the toilet, because TV is not doing no one any favours. Whilst ever you're watching TV right now and on your devices 24/7 on games and watching reality TV, you're gonna hurt your eyes, you're gonna hurt your brain. So someone's ringing me, don't know who's ringing me. So yeah.
All right. Okay, mate. Yeah. One of the other things you've done, which shows the humanitarian side of you as well. At Christmas, you were in the gym and you put an appeal out for people to bring toys for children. Can you speak a bit about that, please?
Yeah, I was doing some a food bank with a local company called Mint, which is Men in Need Together. So it's all about, you know, mental health for men. I mean, mental health for everyone really, but I'm about mental health for everyone. But you know, this was for men. And these guys were helping with people with food and toys. So I decided to start doing the same thing, like just helping them do what they did, just an extension. And I was getting all the food parcels out. I was going all over for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I think I fed something like 35, 40 families. And then I had an idea that, you know, if they can't afford food, then they can't afford toys. And obviously with Christmas coming up, me and one of my pals, AJ Sharma, started getting a load of toys together for the local kids. We got a massive amount of toys down at the gym ready for them. So just doing stuff like that, just for people that I think, you know, it didn't take much effort to do. People might say, well done, but it wasn't that hard. So I don't actually need or want a thank you or well done. It was just that it had to be done. Someone had to do something, so it had to be done.
That's what I like about you, Smudge. It needed to be done. So you stepped up, you done it, it worked, that was it. End of.
Yeah, it wasn't about praise. I didn't, you know, someone said about putting something in paper. I went, I don't want nothing put in paper. It wasn't about praise. I think too many people doing it for praise, too many people wanting praise. I mean, I didn't want praise, and I'm just saying that, you know, we do things to help others, and we don't get praise, and it's okay to do that. It's okay not to get praise. It's okay to just do it and feel good about it to yourself, and not have to have someone say to you, you did a really good job there.
No, I think,
you know, just self gratification. It's not hard to do, is it? It's not hard to just believe it. You've done something nice, and to say to yourself, thank you for doing that. You know, you made yourself feel good, and you made others feel good.
That's what it's about. I think with the COVID situation, it's brought out the best in some people and the worst in others. It's shown people's true character as well.
Oh, massively. Oh, yeah.
People. There's some idiots out there, which we both know, but there's also some very good people out there who just want to go out there and actually help.
Mate, honestly, I've seen some nasty people out and about. You know, I've seen. I won't wear a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask, and it's my choice. No one's going to make me wear one either. And if you do, you can send me off to jail. I'm not doing it. But these people go out of the way to scream and shout. But if you're wearing a mask, then it's your choice and you're protected. If that's the case, if you believe the mask work, then obviously you're protected. Don't worry about me wearing mine. But I think that's what the government are doing right now. They're actually trying to split us and divide us. You know, the ones that believe in it, the ones that don't, the ones that wear masks, the ones that don't. Now, I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. I'm just saying leave me to my decision, to leave me to my choice. I'm not going to start saying you take your mask off if you don't say to me, put your mask on. So what we'll do there is we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
and I won't wear mine, and you'll wear yours.
Happy days, mate. That's what it's about, isn't it? A lot of the military veterans from all the services, including military services, are going through a hard time at the moment because of COVID. A lot of them not being able to work and things like that. Do you have a message, like positive mindset, to say to everyone out there?
Yeah, the ones that are at home, talk to someone. You know, get yourself speaking to someone if you're struggling. Don't just sit there and mull over the same things in your own mind, because you'll just keep giving yourself the same answers, which are, I'm not this, or I'm not that, or I'm this, or I'm that. You know, you're gonna keep asking yourself the same questions. You're gonna keep reinforcing the same answers. Speak to someone who's in the same boat, or someone who can pick you up and get you out of that rut, and get yourself out and do some exercise, and turn your TV off. Turn your TV off. Please, just because that thing there is not good for you. It's not good for you at all.
I think on that one is, if anyone's going through an hard time, reach out to somebody else, have a chat. If you're a veteran, ring another veteran, have a chat. Pick up the dog and bone. A problem shared is a problem halved. Everyone's going through some difficult, challenging times at the moment. The other thing is as well, what Smudger's mentioned, very important. Don't stay cooped up in the house or your flat. Get your boots on, your trainers, your jacket, get out, go for a walk in the countryside, in the local park, get a bit of exercise, get a bit of fresh air as well. You'll feel a lot better for that as well. All right, Smudge, I'd like to say, I'm just about to close the interview down. Thank you so much for taking the time to coming on as well. Would you like to say anything else, mate, to the viewers?
Yeah, just stay safe and be lucky.
Happy days. That's what it's about. Okay, everyone. Thank you for watching the Patriot Show. Thank you so much for Smudge for coming on, giving some very wise words of advice. Anyone's got any questions for Smudge, send them to myself or Smudge. Use PMs or email. Everyone knows how they get hold of me, and we will answer any questions. Please stay tuned to watch the advertisements and videos from our supporters and sponsors at the end of the interview. We are helping to advertise veteran-run businesses, both in the United States and in England as well. Okay, everyone, enjoy your week and stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Anthony.